Welcome once again. I like to say to the Vibe, thank you for having us on your show. This is the conversation. This is really our second week, but we had a little practice run. But I think we ready for our first night tonight.
Ready.
I think I have a wonderful crew here. We have Dr. Simone here. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, OB,
All
and
right.
Cousin May,
Hey.
and Lady G.
That's
That's
right.
baby.
We have Miss Lady G. Lady G, how you doing tonight?
I'm actually doing pretty well. Just getting off my other job and rushed on over here
Great.
to get here and get involved in this conversation.
Great. Mr. Epic?
Hey, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. Excited for the lineup and the show we have.
Right.
Excited about the talent that's around this table.
Yeah. And Cousin Maze.
Hey. I'm just happy to be here. We
Yeah.
got some interesting topics we're going to talk
Yeah,
about
we do.
tonight, and I'm
Hot,
ready.
Great. This has definitely been a great dream for years, 2 or 3 years of putting into effect and just trying to find the right team. And we definitely, once again, I want to say thank each one of you for being a part of this team, and I feel so great about it. Feel so great about it, and we want everybody that's listening, that's maybe on the air listening or watching, to just be patient with us because we're growing, and we're gonna grow in this thing. And I'm not used to hosting no show, so hey, I'm hoping somebody else take the baton next week and we go from there. But definitely great. We're ready for a great show.
All right, that's right.
Anybody just like to?
Well, OB,
Yes.
Cousin May,
Uh-huh.
Epic, and Lady G. Guess
G.
what our topic is for tonight? We know what the topic is.
Yes.
The topic is what women want.
Oh.
Bang.
What do they
Count now.
really want?
What women want. What do women really want?
Oh.
And we're going to have some callers to call in too tonight, I do believe. Right, Miss Lotus? You got
Ooh,
callers
yes.
calling in. Oh, Epic, why are you looking at me like that?
I'm looking because I don't have a pad and pen. Maybe I should take notes tonight. I believe I need to be taking some notes tonight, man.
We're going to start out tonight. OB, you want to start us out about what women want? Do you want to talk about that? Or
Yes, I
ask
will.
Cousin
Yes,
May?
I will.
Let her go first, like rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Maze.
Ladies go first. Okay.
Well, before we get into the conversation about what women want, how was everyone weekend?
Okay.
Great.
We'll talk about
So
The weekend.
mine was great. At work, did a little work, ripping and running, but it was great. Looking forward to tonight. So that's what my weekends was, getting work out the way. Couldn't wait to get home to get my head, try to get relaxed and get rid on our topics.
Okay, I didn't do too much. I had an uneventful weekend, actually, just some relaxing time. I did make it out to Brick House last night over in DeSoto.
Oh,
Me and my husband made our
Right.
way over there last night. They have line dancing on Sunday
Oh.
night, so we went over there for about half an hour just to see what they had going on.
Line dancing.
Yeah, I've been wanting to learn. I've taken one lesson, and it was pretty fun. A lot of fun. A lot of
That's
fun.
cool. I didn't know they were still open in DeSoto.
Break
That's
out.
all right.
Still
Brick
doing it.
House.
I had a great weekend this weekend. Simone Publishing, Dr. Simone, myself, and one of my business partners, we had a pen, publish, and prosper workshop at Holland Park Cafe.
Oh,
Can
wow.
publish and prosper.
Yes.
Like that.
I love
Yes,
seeing
nice.
the work. There's
That's
a
crafty.
business out of everyone. So if you're interested, go to SimonePublishing.com and put in the plug, SAMONE, SimonePublishing.com. And we had a magnificent time. After that, I went to the city of DeSoto. They had a domestic violence seminar at the Church of the Disciple United Methodist Church where Dr. Rita F. Lee is pastor. And it was a collaboration with the city and DeSoto ISD. And it
Oh,
was really
nice.
awesome.
Okay.
It was
Awesome.
an awesome
Awesome.
event. So I had a great weekend. I did have my grandfather passed away this weekend,
Yes.
but
Oh,
guess
wow.
what, guys?
Yeah.
That's
That is
still a
good.
celebration.
Yes.
He
It
is
is.
94 years
Wow.
old.
That's a blessing.
And we are truly blessed as a family. So I'll be making my way home to Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Woo-hoo!
All the way to Pine Bluff, and we're going to go.
Love, baby.
this weekend, and celebrate the life of my grandfather, Reverend William Gardner. So
Awesome.
we're looking forward to
Gardner.
seeing all our family as we have that celebration. So that was my weekend.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I really want to say that my panel looks great. Don't they look, for those of you who are watching, sitting at home watching, whatever, Dr. Simone and Lady G and Mr. Epic and Cut Mays and myself. But we're definitely glad to be a part of the vibe, the high vibe. Miss Lotus J, she's definitely a great lady. Very, very helpful throughout this little mission that we're on. So as you were saying, Dr. Simone, our topic, first topic for today.
What
we
women want. What do women really want? And we're talking about relationships.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
Who's
Cut
first
Mays,
of
what
the
you-
Look at the men in the room. We just kind
Yeah,
of
that's the question
Okay.
women really want. So we're gonna roll off y'all back on this one.
We're gonna let Cousin Mays go first.
Oh.
Cousin Mays, she's everybody's cousin. So.
There you go. There you go.
What do women want? I can't speak for every woman, but for myself, I can only speak for myself because every woman wants something different. Everyone's morals and standards are different.
Right.
And I will say a lot of things, but I'm just going to make it sweet and simple. Okay. Someone with patience, understanding, some wisdom, have some discernment, spiritually connected. That's very important. I need to understand the person's love language. I want that person to know my love language, one another's love language, because when you learn someone's love language and when you like them or love them, then you do what it is that they pretty much want, and it makes the relationship a whole lot better. Instead of coming in selfish when you're supposed to be selfless when you come into the relationship. And I also feel if you don't have yourself together, don't step into a relationship. Work on yourself, because whatever a woman well, we're talking about women right now, but whatever a woman is in the process of moving forward, she don't need someone to come in to interrupt her flow of what she's doing, especially if he's not trying to bring happiness or giving her some knowledge and wisdom to add on to her plate, which she already has. So it's important. But I'm going to pass it over to Lady G.
Oh, goodness, this is so yummy. Oh, goodness.
Right,
So
Lady
what
G.
do women want? First and foremost, being in a committed relationship where you two are moving in the same direction. You know, being married for 28 years as I have, I've been in past relationships where I didn't know where it was going, where we was going. It was like we weren't wanting the same things out of life. And first of all, if God is not involved in that relationship, it's a lot that can go wrong.
Absolutely.
But for myself, like I said, being in my marriage as long as I have, I've discovered some things that I wanted. 28 years ago, I don't need all that anymore. I've grown and we evolved together. So things have changed over the years. I found that I have value in our relationship. So I think what I say should matter. We've always been brought up, the man is the head of the household. But we still, as his helpmeet, we still have an opinion of what we're going to do in our relationship, and I think that's important that we're able to voice our opinions in our relationship. And through my marriage, I've been able to do that. Sometimes I felt like it wasn't appreciated, and then he would do what he wanted, but now, since, like I said, we've evolved together into that oneness, and we've grown together. We're growing together. The years have been building up, and we're learning each other. and just learning how much we mean to each other. So things that I've wanted, they're coming to realization right now. So it's that oneness, you know, and us being in this thing together.
So
and
it
I
took
just love
time,
it.
though, to
Yes,
get there, right? It took
yes,
time.
and it still is taking time. We're still building and still learning each other, you know, but we're learning new things about each other each and every day and learning to appreciate one another. But it's been a journey.
Yeah.
It has truly been a
No
journey,
doubt.
and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Being is, and you know, and it's really something because being married for as long as we have been, I know the difference. You know, I've been in bad relationships, and I know what I appreciate.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nobody called and told me nothing.
Yeah, you know, I was married before, and
Oh, man.
yeah, I was married before and was in other relationships, but this one is just different. Everything about it is different. And it's what I needed, and you know, and I realized that I was trying to have a relationship, and maybe that wasn't what God wanted for me at that time in my life, and I was trying to force it. But now it's more relaxed.
There you go.
Right on.
You know,
right
and we're
on.
growing together, and these years are building.
Yeah.
They're mounting up, but it's a beautiful thing. It's a
Beautiful.
beautiful thing.
Awesome.
Hey.
Yes, I'm next.
Of course.
What do women want? I'm just like Cousin May. She said women are different. We're all different. Everyone wants something different, and it does depend on your belief system. But when I think about it, I'm a little bit different from you. And I'm like you. I'm like you. Being single, being married for 19 years, being divorced, and being single again.
Yeah.
So I have a different perspective. I know what it's like to be single, I know, and young. I know what it's like to be married in a relationship for years, and I know what it's like to be in the state that I am right now as a person of more maturity, more mature in age.
Yes.
And I would say that what I would think that some women would want would be some of the same things that I think about is, first of all, when you look at men, thinking about, you're looking at me, you're looking at every word I'm saying there, OB. Okay.
Say
We
the
taking
word.
notes. We taking notes.
I'm in the zone. I'm listening.
When we take a look at men, this is what I think
Watch
a lot
out
of
now.
women may think. I may be wrong, but I know there's a scripture that talks about how men should love their wives like Christ loved the church. And if you're married, I really think that women want their husbands to be that way. If you're dating, I think that it may start with friendship and then love may come, and I think that's fine. But when I think about relationships, eventually, especially getting married again, I think about someone who is a helpmate or helpmeet that will provide covering for me.
Protection, no doubt.
I think most women want to feel protected.
Yeah.
And it's just a simple thing, you know, it's just, you know, when you
good.
go to bed at night, if something happens in the house, you hear a noise, you don't have to jump up and go see what it is.
Right.
Someone's there who will stand in the gap, get up, and go see what the noise is. Or
So in other words, I can't say you go. Somebody got to stay. Hey, let me know if you hear this.
right.
I got you.
So I would say protection, and then I would think that someone that has a good spirit, they love the Lord, and it's not about just going to church. It's just having a relationship with God, just like I have a relationship with God. I would want that person to have a relationship with God as well. I would say that, you know, so many people have a long list.
Yes.
Of what they would like, but I really believe in making lists, and some people say, oh, maybe your standards are too high. If my standards are too high, I'm not for you. Because
That's
you
right.
really have to be careful out here as a woman, especially dating again. This is more different than it was years ago when I was in my 20s.
Yes.
And there's another scripture in the Bible that talks about, do not cast your pearls into the swine's den so that they can be trampled upon. In other words, not everybody is worthy of you.
Right,
and I'm not
right.
saying because of your stature of where you are with your position at work or your
Right.
job.
Right.
I'm not saying about your bank account, about how much money you make.
Right.
I'm not talking about how beautiful you may be on the outside,
Right,
and
right.
just glorious to behold.
Yeah.
I'm talking about who you are as a person inside, that you are God's daughter. And not everyone that comes along is deserving to have you.
Right.
And
right.
so some men say that women are really picky, and I say, why not be?
Hey, that's good.
Absolutely.
And when it is in God's plan and His footsteps, your footsteps are ordered, I think that He would bring the right person that needs to be there. But I think a lot of times we get very impatient, and we just think that it's not going to happen, and we get desperate, and we start doing things out of being desperate, and that's not the way to be. And I've learned after divorce to learn how to be patient. And so I think that women want to be with a man, as I said, to protect, to cover, and he has to have a great sense of humor for me.
Right,
I like laughing.
Right.
Yes.
When I've had a hard day at work and I don't want to talk about work, I want somebody who can laugh, make me laugh, and we laugh together and have a good time. We can go, I'm going to say this, I can take this person to the White House, and we can go to a statesman dinner, and yet we can go over to Keisha's. Not, no offense to anybody's named Keisha. But
Keisha's out there.
we can go to the projects and have Kool-Aid with Keisha. You know, no offense to anybody's named Keisha, not to offend anybody, but we can do that.
Right.
And they can weave in and out of different worlds, because I think that that's how we should be and feel comfortable. I think there should still be a sense of chivalry,
Oh,
that
absolutely.
you show respect for young ladies. I'm just old school.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything's wrong with opening doors. I don't
Right.
think anything's wrong with treating a lady like a lady. And in return, I think there are things that we have to do as women too. Because respect is not only something that comes from a man. I think that's something that we have to provide as well.
True that.
So
Right.
that's what I think. I know I talked for a while, but
No,
That's
y'all
okay.
I want to hear more. I had,
No, it's
y'all
good.
asked me,
so what do you tell a young woman who's not that patient? You know, you've learned to be patient and
I've
wait.
learned. Just
So,
trust me.
so what do you tell someone who, you know, your listeners right now, someone who's on the edge and they're not necessarily patient and they're making mistakes through in that impatient process?
I just say you have to be. You can decide if you want to practice it or not, but I think your life has a lot to do with that. Because when you're not patient, anything can come down the road.
Anything at all. And I think that is us not waiting on God for Him to send us the man or for Him to find us, because he that finds a good thing, a wife finds a good thing.
Okay.
So I think that we have to be patient and allow God to bring that man into our lives, because He's going to be just for us.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
because we go through a lot of junk stuff. We put ourselves through a lot of stuff we don't have to. A lot of heartache,
Yeah.
a lot of tears, and it's so
Lot of
unnecessary.
tears.
A lot of tears.
Ah, cheers.
Ooh, a lot.
Somebody once said you got to kiss some toes to get to Prince, and some frogs to get to Prince. How many frogs do you want to kiss, right?
But I think it, just being patient and just waiting for your time. Waiting for your time. And you know. You know.
Yeah.
You really do know.
Wow, this is good. I mean, to follow the ladies here and to kind of embrace what they've been saying, how do I approach that? What do women want? So, from my perspective, oftentimes as men, we come with what women want from, if we were reared in any kind of way, we get it from our fathers or how they treated our mothers, if we saw that in our household.
Right.
Unfortunately, in the African American community, we hardly ever really see a good example of that
Wow.
through the broken homes.
True
But
that.
you know, I was fortunate. My folks have been together for a while. Even my grandparents, they were married 73 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
for 73 years. So I would say women, you know, would like to be first and foremost appreciated and valued. You know, they want to be valued. They do want to be heard. You know, if you ever want to get into a scuffle, deny that voice. You know, you want to have a voice. Want to be able
Sounds
to
like
have a
you know,
voice.
Sounds like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, a little bit. They want to have a voice, so that's premier. Because now, in that, going back to what Lady G was saying, in the leadership role of a man, being able to the relationship, a clause, being able to relate. You got to be able to relate in the relationship, and that starts with that open communication. Because one of the worst things, whether you're a man or a woman, is to be misunderstood.
True that.
Absolutely.
So you want to definitely have that clarity and that flow. So a woman want to be able to have flow, which that flow to her would be protection, like Dr. Simone said, protection and security, levels of security, financial security. Want to make sure that, hey, they don't want to have to carry and bear the load. And too many of our African American sisters, they bear the load heavily. Heavily. So, or not to say that you got to have this lavish lifestyle. Now some of our sisters put us way up there on that treadmill. Put it all the way up on the incline in the highest level. But
you're gonna have to explain that one later. When
right.
Tell me about the treadmill.
The treadmill.
Tell us about the
The
treadmill.
lavish pace of the treadmill. But that's one thing. But a spiritual leader, it's good to have someone who has high morals and values that's leading the mark, that she can really look up to and inspire. I believe that's the position of a man. But those are what women want. But I think above that, going biblical, and Dr. Simone was saying that what they need is truly love. Women truly need love. And all that represents, having the ability to make mistakes, to come back, to grow together, to understand one another in error, because there is error in relationships.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, man, if mistakes are made, it's just, and now that's just a framework. That's, this is what's funny about what I've learned through women. They'll say, oh, my list is short. And that's true. Their social list is short. But when you go deeper, women are full of layers, lots of layers, and they got layers and more layers, and it's good. It's a layers of it's layers of, I don't know what you want to call it in terms of, it's the essence of a woman has layers, and so when you get to one layer, if you really truly love and committed to her, she'll be able to be secure enough to open up those other layers.
Well, I want you to hold that thought about the elevator piece, and we're going to let you talk for a minute, but I think that it's a good time that maybe we may have a caller to call in. Is that right? Okay. We have a number that you can call in. It's 972-882-6146. Again, 972-882-6146. And we'll see if we have a caller to call in while Epic's talking, and then we'll pipe the caller through.
Okay.
Go ahead and continue.
So, and then when you find out that those layers, you'll have the emotional part of a woman. So, being able to hold up and be an emotional support for a woman is critical.
Yeah.
Because, if you're, a woman doesn't need a woman, and a man doesn't need a man, because some women get so suppressing their emotional, and they just become hard as a man. Well, a man don't want a man. We want a woman, someone to be able to express themselves as a woman. And the same thing, we got to be able to shoulder the essence of a woman's emotions. I believe that because oftentimes you got to look at it like, if your shoulders are broad enough, you should be able to step in there and handle the various emotions of a woman, and not necessarily join into that. You got to be able to recognize that day and get ahead of that day with some solidity, as a man.
Interesting.
Basically, what a woman wants, in my short experience, I've learned though that the women that I've encountered for his friendships, my sister, my mom, co-workers, when I listen to them, they want to have fun. They want to laugh.
That's true.
I'm gonna just give you about 4 or 5, and I'm be done. They want to laugh all the time, whether it's early in the morning before they go to work, breakfast, at church. And I think laughter, it doesn't matter how much money you make. A woman is attracted to a person that keep them laughing all day. When they can just call and say, "What you doing?" "Oh, my dear, peeling peaches." Women just, "What are you doing?" Women just love that. Second of all, is a listening ear. To how to just to be quiet and shut up, listen to that woman. Just let her just talk.
Wow.
And if she don't even ask you what you think about it, just let her just talk. And just let her get it out, because that's hard to find. That's hard. A lot of women don't want to tell their best friend their business. Girl, I got to file for bankruptcy. Some women just want to open up and just talk. The other one I think is trust. Can they trust you that you came over last night and we had a wonderful time, that you at least call me tomorrow? You know, in my 50 years of knowing women, I've had so many women say, "How come you didn't call me today?" I was like, "I was just with you all last night and yesterday. I mean, why you got to call?" Women just, once they like you and they want to know that you thought about them more than just last night, and on, you know.
That's good.
But that's the love language of time. Quality time is the love
Quality
language.
time, yes.
No doubt. No doubt. My other one I would say is, she want to know that if things go wrong for her, you got her. She wants somebody to say, "It's gonna be all right." You know, your mom passed, whatever. I don't even know how I'm gonna get down there. Don't worry about it. We're gonna be there. If I don't go with you, you'll be there. That's what I think a woman.
He's
that's
talking
what a
now.
woman-
He's talking.
Just to know, hey, if my water pipe busts, he might can't fix it, but he got partners that hey, baby, Chris be over in a minute. He in a white truck. He's Hispanic. Show him where it's at.
Yep.
So, you know, because so many men don't want to hear a woman's problem when he's in the middle of something. He's working. "Baby, I ain't got time to talk." "Well, baby, the lights are off." "Hey, just light a candle. I'll be there at 6 when I get there." No, they want to say, "Look, sweetie, take the credit card, go up to Red Lobster and eat dinner and relax for a minute. I have it fixed I had the problem fixed by the time you get back home." Simple.
Simple. Very simple.
Did you hear Lady?
Huh?
You hear Lady G over here?
No,
She said,
That's just him taking care, just
Yeah.
taking
Taking
care
care.
of making sure she's all right.
Right. And my last one, I promise I'll be done, is to know that it doesn't matter where y'all go, Miss Lotus. Don't matter where you go with your woman. You make her feel like she's the queen of that event. You're not ashamed to walk in holding hands with her. You're not ashamed to kiss her in front of everybody. That says a lot.
Right.
When you go stand by the women's bathroom for your woman to come out, that says a whole lot. There's women there standing. Who is this guy right here? Standing by the females, the W, waiting on his woman to come out.
Yep.
So I didn't want to give y'all too much gravy.
That's good. That's good.
That's just what I've experienced for 50 years. And
So what do y'all think, ladies? What do y'all
I like
think?
I like that.
yeah, that's what I think.
I think that's really nice what you said about being there. For instance, if she's going through something and like she has to make it home and needs support and needs you to drive her somewhere, sometimes it's little things that count.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I've had so many women to say, "Marvin, I just wanted to call you. I lost my job today." And I'd be like, what you tripping about? Is there some more jobs out there? Hey, we got to get out of here. Where you at? Right? I'm on my way to get you right now. So go ahead. I'm sorry if I interrupted. Go ahead, Mr. Dr. Smart.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's man. I've just been through it, man, and that's what I love. That's what I've experienced.
Wow.
Yeah.
So even on the dating, on the dating scene, women commonly say, "Well, I don't have a long list. I don't have this list," because they know if they truly came out with a list, it would scare half of us guys away. If they truly, this whole room will get dark. They will pull out a list.
Yeah.
So, I like the tactic, No, it's real. I'm real short and real simple, but we understand that there's layers. There's layers to this.
Well, I tell you what, the list you just don't tell. We don't tell you guys about the list. We just have
We
it
just
down.
have
We
it.
have it in our head.
Right.
But we can't tell y'all the
Got
list.
the
'Cause you're
list.
right about that. We'll scare you.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
So I think when men don't know what's on the list, I think it's better to you
Okay.
can hit
Right.
it with that list.
I got
You
you.
know,
Yeah.
and it's not a bad thing. It's
Right.
not a
No.
bad thing because if you, first of all, you have to love yourself
Right.
before love is going to come to you, and you deserve to be loved. But you have to love yourself. You have to be able to have that quiet time with yourself. You have to be able to get up and go to the movie. If you want to go see a movie, go see a movie. You know, we have women who go and take cruises by themselves. They don't have to go with girlfriends. They just go
Right.
by themselves because they are content with themselves.
Right.
And if you're content with yourself, guess what happens when someone comes along and it's the right person? Look how powerful that is. Okay? So, okay. Did you want to say something, OB?
All right.
Okay. We have a caller? Okay. Okay, it's time for us to take a break. So we're going to take a break and we'll
Yes.
be right back
All right.
for the conversation.
All right.
Welcome back to the conversation. Welcome back to the Vibe, HighVibe, who's hosting us tonight. Definitely with a team of great people that I admire a lot, and they're definitely full of wisdom and knowledge and experience. We got some people here tonight that's never been married, but has been in relationships. And most of us are married, some divorced, and some back divorced and married, and divorced again and married again, and I fall into that category. So we do want to keep it rolling, and I like to throw in right now just a little fun. We had a topic we talked about, and that was if we knew then what we know now. We'd like to just give us a little inspiration on that right there. If we knew then what we know now.
Well, I'll go ahead and start with that. I'm going to kind of tie those segments in with what Dr. Simone was was discussing before we left break. She was talking about that a woman needs to know herself. And on the flip side, for us fellas, that helps us out a lot.
Yes, it do.
You know,
Yes,
I remember the great mind of Peter Drucker. He said, you know, in order to satisfy customers' needs and wants, you got to first be able to identify those needs.
No doubt.
You got to know what those needs and wants are. So it's hard and even unfair for a man to fulfill the needs and wants of a woman when she herself doesn't necessarily
Wow.
know what they are. So,
Wow.
like she was saying, spending that quality time, really evaluating herself and utilizing that period of singleness to self-explore,
Right.
so that then she can know and communicate her needs and wants to a man. And at that point, we at least have an opportunity for some success.
No doubt.
Awesome.
So basically, that was great. Is there? My deal is, I would say, if I knew then what I know now, it would basically be saving money and to be more focused on paying things off, retirement, and spending quality time with loved ones, that type of thing. And being an entrepreneur, to venture out and do more than just one deal, you know. I used to always hear, "Don't put all your eggs in one basket," you know. But that's what I would like. That's what if I knew then what I knew now. That's one of the deals I probably would that fit my decision.
Okay, now we want to start a new topic, guys. Guess what our second topic is? Is there romance anymore? Oh, look at Cousin Maze.
In this 21st century, does it still
Wow.
Is there
exist?
romance
still there?
anymore? Cousin Maze, you ready to answer that? Is there romance anymore?
Woo. Conversation, families. I really wonder sometimes.
We need a caller on this one, though, because
We really do.
We really need a caller on this one.
This new age dating is
Oh,
really
my.
something interesting. It's very interesting. I feel like I'm very young. Okay. I just put my age out there, 36, 36. And the short time that I dated when I was younger, I saw more romance then.
Wow.
And when I was, let me explain what I mean by that. Because Dr. Simone, you touched on something. Chivalry was part of the romance. Making sure that woman getting out and in the car safely. He's opening up the door. She gets in. He closed the door and do the same when she gets out. Making sure the door is open. Pulling out the chairs. Holding her hand, helping her up the steps. And I'm not sure what happened.
Wow.
It's some that still do the minimum.
Right.
Some women still require, I know I do. I still require chivalry because that's very important to me. When you have that, it makes me know that you actually care about me as a person and how I feel as a woman.
Wow.
And that's very important, but some people just wasn't taught that.
Right, and I think that's where it comes from. I know my husband, and I know that I'm blessed. When we first started dating, he did all of that. 28 years later, he still does all of that.
Yes.
And and it's funny because our son, he says, "Oh, don't nobody want," when he opens my door, and and his wife is sitting there looking at him like, "Look at your dad,
my
look at your
gosh.
dad," and he was like, "Oh, don't nobody want that," but I know, she desires that, and like I said, I've been in past relationships where none of that, I never saw that, so that's when I knew, when he was doing it when we first started dating, I was like, oh my goodness, he made sure I was in the car safe, and he opens my door, and he lets me walk in the door before he walks in, and lets me sit down before he sits. And I said, oh, this is just You know, this is
Absolutely.
just the beginning. I don't know if this gonna last, and it truly has.
Right.
And he's always been like that, but he learned that from his father. He watched how his father, you know, treated his mother, you know, and the things that he did for her, and he's doing that, you know, still today, and it's a beautiful thing. And we're losing that because the kids now, they don't. The relationships are so different now. When we got together, it was to be in a relationship and grow together.
Right.
I don't know what's going on now. I don't know what I would have to do if I had to get back out there into the dating. I don't know. I'd be so lost.
No doubt. No
You know,
doubt.
I think social media is good in some aspects, and social media is not so great in others. The reason why I say that is, you know, a lot of times people are doing online dating.
Oh, yeah.
People, and this is what's real funny, even with the younger kids in high school, they'll say, such and such is dating such and such. I said, where? I don't see it. Oh, they do it on Snapchat.
Oh,
this is the
yes,
kids.
the Snapchat.
On Snapchat, they're dating. They're going out. The word is we're going out. And so they never see each other. They just Snapchat back and forth, and they call it dating.
That's scary.
And so, and I think every generation has been different. I just remember my grandmother saying that when she met my grandfather, she was walking down an old country road, and he ran up behind her, and he said, hey ma'am, hey miss, would you like this Mr. Good bar I have? He had a Mr. Good bar, chocolate bar in his hand, and he was trying to give it to her. Okay.
Dang, so sweet.
That was the hook. He says it was different. He says something totally different. He said that some guy, they were at a club and the guy was swinging her, you know how the old type of dancing,
Oh, yeah.
twirling her around in a clubhouse. But, you know, I don't believe my granddad, you know, I don't believe that's true. But it was just a romantic thing for him to just have a candy bar, you know.
Man, I'm
People
gonna have
back
to use
then,
that.
they didn't
Mr.
have a
Good
whole
Bar.
lot of
Good
money.
bar.
Mr.
But he
Good
had
Bar.
the candy bar.
Candy bar.
Something so simple.
Right.
You know, back then, a candy bar. Back then, I think it's so different. But now, you know, you have women. If he doesn't take me out to Three Forks or to the Dragonfly or
Wow.
to Sambuca
Yeah.
or Eddie V's or wherever you want to go, the first night you don't even want to deal with the person.
Right.
Some
Wow.
people think that's romance. That's not necessarily romance. You can
No,
go
it's not.
somewhere and have a hamburger and some fries in a greasy paper bag and have a good time.
True that.
And that could be romance, or just take that out and make some sandwiches, go
A picnic,
get a
huh?
blanket,
Wow.
go
You
out
said
to
it.
the
You
park,
said it.
go by the river or the lake,
Keep it simple.
lay it out.
Simple.
Yeah.
You don't have to have wine, have some sparkling water
That's right.
and some sandwiches, and the woman will just fall out.
Yes.
But I think people have gotten so far away from that, they think that you have to impress. And when you impress, that's romance. But impressing is not romance. So sometimes it's just the little bitty things, and
Yeah,
you
those
don't
small
have to spend a lot of
gestures.
money. The
Yeah.
small gestures. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but just be creative and do some of those things. And you talk about what women want, and that goes with what women want. And
Absolutely.
is there romance anymore? So I think there's a sense of romance in that. You know, I really do.
I want to go across the grain a little bit to ruffle some feathers. I'm going to go back to what Cousin May said. Is it that the women don't require that anymore in your dating? Because sometimes if you don't mention it or if you don't say anything, they'll never do it. The other thing a lot of feathers I want to ruffle is it that generation that the fathers were not there, so they didn't know how to see how to do that.
Yeah. And
So,
I think that's a big part. That's a big part of it. Because we learn from example. And if the father's not in the household, how do they learn? If their mother, you know, like I think about myself and being raised by a single mother. And my brothers, you know, our father wasn't there, so, you know, how they learned to treat women, I don't know, because, it's been a lot going on. But, yeah, I think that definitely it's got to be from example. And if they don't know, they just don't know.
Yeah.
We're never taught.
And that's basically what I'm saying, because I hear so many women talk about, but he don't do this and he don't do that. Why you still with him? You know what I'm saying? We got to. I mean, I don't want you to run him off like that, but he might need. Sometime you might have to teach.
There
You
you
know, you might say, well, I'm not gonna. If you're not gonna treat me like a lady, I'm used to being. I watched my mom get treated, and I like that treatment, and I like for you to open the door for me. You know, I want you to go in the house first and make sure everything okay. You know, I know some guys they don't think they should have to walk in the house with a lady when he drop her off at home. They sit out in the car, you know,
Yeah.
and you all right?
Or blow the horn, beep, beep.
But without that man being there for the last 20 years, 30 years, I think these younger men just don't know.
They just don't. They don't
See,
know.
and I'm hearing a lot of this, just saying it's a reflection of the depletion of the
Yes.
household within the African
household.
American community. And so, and I say that to say, even looking at just the data surrounding our sisters, you know, our African American females are the last to be married, you know, or once they get even divorced, there's a 70% chance that first marriage is going to be divorced, end up in divorce. So when you have that many sisters out here that are single, then sometimes the guys play on that. And on the flip side of that is when you have our sisters who are mainly, if you take it looking at it educationally, you know, our brothers, us as men, we're so far behind. Our boys are so far behind educationally. Our sisters are stronger in reading, writing, communication skills. Their creativity is on another level high. So it's a gap in the very, very beginning. So when you go into the relationship scene, there's still a gap. There's an economical gap.
Yeah.
So sisters, is it fair to say this guy is coming strong towards you and he has interest, but he's not on your economical level? Good man. Not on your economical level. He's not taking you to Three Forks, but he is bringing out a cardboard and writing different things on the cardboard for you. He is showing various types of creative skills, you know, to try to impress you. What do you think on that? I mean, is there a glass ceiling that we don't necessarily see? I need to know that from the sisters. What do women want? I mean, love or money? Now it's quiet. This is the conversation. How did the conversation get so quiet up in here?
I can say it this way. I know Reverend Dr. Freddie Haynes always says, romance without finance is a nuisance.
Do that.
Romance without finance is a nuisance. So,
Do that. I hate to say it. I used to have the cars, the drop top, and this and that. But I get a phone call and they say, "Well, what you doing, Marvin?" I said, "I was just rolling. Why don't you come out and pick me up, man? I want to go by. Let's go to Papados." I said, "Yeah, I'm rolling, but my money ain't that good." I didn't hear them say, "Oh, okay. Well, just holler back at me, then."
Wow.
See, to me, that's such a setup because
That's
the
crazy.
men we interpret that as that's insincere. I'm giving you the sincere me, and so the insincerity of you is gonna meet the insincerity of me, and so then brothers who have plays that as a hook.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're gonna be insincere, let us all. You can't beat them. Guess what? Join them. And so that starts. It became this take mentality, you know, versus man. I want to give the authentic me, who I am, to this person. No more, no less. It's kind of like being in the will of God. You want to be in the will of God, no place else, because there's no better place than the will of God.
No doubt.
No, you don't want to earn any more money, or you don't want to be any less broke than what God's will is for you in your life. And we know God wants to prosper us. We know that.
well, I know someone. I know someone asked the question, but who was it? You Epic said, "What do women want? Do you want romance or do you want money?"
Yeah.
Love or money?
Well, I tell you what. There's a saying, the Bible talks about the love of money is the root of all evil. We know not money, but the love of money. And then there's a saying that money does not cause happiness, but the lack thereof can surely cause misery.
That's sure can.
So in other words,
Okay.
you know, you want somebody to have a particular amount of wealth. What is wealth? Wealth is in different stages according to the other person. You know, someone can say that a person who makes $40,000 is wealthy. Someone can say 100. Someone can say $500,000. It depends on the other person's definition of what they think is wealth. Okay, but I truly believe that money does not buy happiness. Because you could be with someone and you can be in a big home and you can have the nice cars, you can have go on the vacations, you can do all these things, and as Lady G just said, you can be miserable and not happy. But then the flip side of that too is you can you can sit up all day and be just as happy and smiling and grinning. And then and I think it's good. There are a lot of things you can do that it doesn't cost money, but then also it gets to the point where you have to have something of substance. Now, I think I do believe in old-fashioned dating, like the picnic blanket and laying it out and doing all that. I do believe that, but I think that you have to have some type of substance, because if you don't bring anything to the table, I mean, a man who doesn't work doesn't eat. I mean, you got to have something, because you have to have substance sometimes, especially if you're talking about getting married. You have to be able to take care of your wife. So a woman needs a husband that can do that, and if you have children, be able to support your family. So you can't live off romance. There's old blues songs about that. What's that old song now? I know you all know. We're from Palm Beach, Arkansas. What's the old blues songs about? I can do bad by myself.
No doubt, no doubt.
I don't need any help to do what?
Starve
Starve
to
to death. Okay, so you don't want that to be the situation either.
Right.
So I think it's just having a balance of those things and striking a balance between romance and the financial piece, having a balance, knowing that both people can agree with it. You know, so I have another question about romance. Some people think that romance is the man paying for everything. Some people think that if he doesn't, it's not romantic. What do y'all think about that? About
That's
going
out
out,
there.
whether or not the man should pay. About whether or not the man should pay on a date as far as romance.
I've been
What
talking
y'all
a lot.
say?
You go ahead, OB.
What I'm trying to do is I'm enjoying myself. I'm getting a lot of knowledge. I hadn't heard this kind of stuff in a long time. Should a man pay on the date? Definitely, I think so. I definitely think so. I think it's almost embarrassing for him to call himself a man and not pay on that date. Sorry about that. But on the flip side, Dr. Simone, I'm here tonight to ruffle little fellas.
Look at that.
I got to ruffle little fellas because I've seen situations, I can't call names, we're on the air in Hello World. I know women that have had the good man, the all best next to the good man, the next to the good man to the good man.
Oh my gosh.
To where she don't want that anymore. She wants the nobody that she can turn into somebody. The guy that she can buy the shirt for, dress him up the way she want to.
Too much work.
She wants the guy that
Too much work.
she can say, you know, when she gets upset, you know, you go where you go back where you came from, but in the 2 or 3 hours, she's riding looking for him. Y'all seen Ernest? Y'all seen Ernest? Or tell him to come. Because guess what? Ernest don't bring nothing to the table, but whatever he bring to the table, and a lot of times it's just a listening ear. Somebody to sit down and eat with that don't. She done been through the drama. And Ernest don't ask for much. Ernest cuts the yard, wash the car, you know.
Right.
Ernest don't ask for no money from her.
Right,
Just a good meal, somewhere he can come watch a movie. That's really her man.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful once we get so far up the road where we done tried Tom, we done tried Pretty Ricky, we done tried the club owner, we done tried the pastor. You know,
my goodness.
the deal is, what do you really want? And you'd be surprised of what Mr. Henry is bringing to the table. He's just bringing a list in there and fun, and he don't argue, he don't fuss and fight, but
Henry
he might
being
drink.
Henry.
Yeah, he just being him.
Wow.
Whatever she needs done, the car cleaned out, groceries brought in, he don't have a problem with that. But he don't work. He doesn't have a paying job. He doesn't get a paycheck. You know, I know some people, family members, that's got that kind of man, and he ain't going nowhere. I'm sorry.
Okay. You want to say something, Lotus? Go ahead and say something, Lotus.
Come on.
I know. Okay, that's okay. Go ahead, Lotus.
Okay, so I never do this because I don't like to interrupt people's shows, but I just got this such a good conversation. So my thoughts are, if you have your friend as your mate, y'all can make whatever work. It just doesn't. I mean, because you're gonna go through times in life when he has it and you don't. Both of y'all have it, or she has it and he doesn't. But if your friendship is tight, it really shouldn't matter, because I'm from the old school, but at the same time, I'm not of the belief pattern that men have to pay for everything. I think it's good for a woman to show him,
Right.
I got
Yeah,
it.
got you.
Let me treat you sometimes, because I kind of think it's unfair if you both come from the same financial background and you have the same responsibilities and y'all still dating. He has, maybe you both single parents. You know, well, his financial situation can be just as taxing as hers, but that pressure is always on him to take you. I feel, and I get a lot of pushback from my sisters when I say that, and I do understand, because we have that mindset that it's a man's role. And my brother, whenever we go anywhere, he'd get irritated if I try to pay. But I've been wanting to show him sometimes too that I appreciate you. You know, like, let me do this. I appreciate you. So I think sometimes if we are really friends in our relationship, then the finances does matter.
True that.
Yeah.
But I think it's the way the relationship starts off.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like at the beginning stages, how did it start off? Now, if you starting off and you don't nobody got no business getting into a relationship if they ain't got nothing. You need to handle your business.
Exactly.
Because neither one of you can do anything for the other one if you don't have your stuff together.
Right.
But the flip side of that is life happens. And do you change the way your relationship is? Like the sister who called and asked you to go to Papa Do's and you say your money is tight. Okay, well, I got it tonight. I called and asked you if you wanted to go. So it's on me.
Yeah.
Or, okay, well, we can't do Papa Do's. Let's go catch a movie.
There you go.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's really about the time. And I'm sorry, I don't want to take
No,
up
no,
time.
no.
That's good.
What
Tone deaf to that.
it
That's good.
seemed to me when she
Good.
did that is she went through her Rolodex and she got to me. And she let me hit Marvin and see
And
what he
she going to
did.
the next.
And she going to the next.
But she
Wow.
going to go Papa Do's on Sunday.
Somebody
Yeah.
expensive.
So my
So their
deal
meal
is-
plan.
On their
It's a
meal
meal
plan.
plan.
So my deal is, I think women, once they get a certain about the romance, like I say, I know women that dated their mechanic. I know women that dated their plumber. So those are very nice guys. Most people that does entrepreneur work like that, I've been in a situation where I've cut little boys' hair and their mom called me, want to know if I was single. You know, can we go out to dinner, or can you come over and eat dinner if I cook dinner with you? So, I think women get a certain time when they get tired, they look for. It's not that they set themselves lower their standards. It's just whoever makes them feel good.
Okay. OB, looks like we have a caller
Okay,
calling
great,
in. I think we
great.
have someone on the line. We have someone on the line, Lotus.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a caller for the conversation. Okay, that's okay.
Awesome.
Okay, who is our caller?
Maybe anonymous. That's the question.
Okay. This is JT on the line for you all.
Okay, we have JT on the line. So, JT, if you can go ahead and get started, and you have a question or you have a statement that you have for the conversation. We have OB here. We have Cousin Mays, Epic, Lady G, and myself, Dr. Simone. So go ahead and give us your question or your statement.
I was calling in because Lady G asked me to.
Okay. Okay, Lady G. Okay, Lady G. Okay. Well, we're gonna start the conversation. We'll have about 5 more minutes, and Lady G will give you a call back because we're talking about a topic right now about romance. Is there any more romance? And then we have our next topic is who inspired you, and I think that you're under that category. But do you mind us if we ask you, do you think that there's still romance today from when you were younger?
I do.
All right.
I do.
You want to give us a few words of wisdom, and then we're going to go on to our next topic. This is good stuff.
I think romance is kind of timeless. I think all generations, and as far as just doing little things for each other.
That is beautiful. So you just gave us a good segue for our next thing. Thank you so very much. And you are a teacher of Miss Lady G?
Miss Lady G.
All right. Well, we call her Lady G around here. So I know Lady G has something she wants to say to you. You have something you want to say? Because you're one of the people who inspired her. Lady G?
Okay.
You want to go ahead and say
hang
something?
Up, didn't you?
No, don't hang up. Don't hang up. Lady G?
On the phone is my high school teacher. Her name is Joanne Pretty.
Oh.
And she truly was an inspiration to me. We were going to talk about that on the next segment, but she went ahead and called in. And I thank you, Mrs. Pretty. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to just share with you how much you were my true inspiration as a teenager in school. I had no idea the impact that you would make on my life. Me and my teacher, Mrs. Pretty, we both were pregnant when I was in high school. And in everything that I did, before I even had became with child, she used to tell me, she saw the direction that my relationship was going with my then boyfriend, and she tried to tell me, you need to date, other people, because she saw the closeness that we had. And she was warning me, and I didn't take heed, and ended up pregnant. But we were pregnant together. And you think that's funny?
I do. I think it's funny when we were walking down the hall. And I was talking
Yes.
before you were 17.
Yes.
Right, but I appreciate what you said. Makes me cry.
Oh goodness!
Wow.
But you really impacted my life, and even as you see today, she's still a part of my life. Even today, 30+ years later.
It is.
Awesome.
And I just thank her for just being such a wonderful person to me always, and she's always been the same. Never has changed, never faulted nothing. And I just love you, and I just wanted you to know that.
Well, that is really nice. These are the moments that, you remember in your lifetime.
Yes.
Likewise, and I call her Annette. I think
That's my
Gloria-
middle name. That's what I went by in high school, my middle name.
She was dependable, upbeat, resilient, honest, had integrity, and just
awesome.
she was going to make the best of any situation, and she has. She's just an exceptional young lady. And she's kind of like a daughter. She's about, she was. She's like a daughter.
That is beautiful. Miss Purdy, is that correct? Miss
Pretty.
Miss Pretty.
Like pretty, like Lid, like Sid, but you can call me Mrs. Purdy. I don't
No, I'm going to say Miss Pretty. That is such an inspirational thing. You have Lady G here in tears, and we can really feel the compassion in your voice of what you're saying when you talk about her. That's why she's a part of this show, because of what you just described about her. Yeah. And I just want to say, and us on the team of the conversation, from OB, from Cousin Mays, from Epic, and myself, Dr. Simone, thank you so very much for your commitment and your dedication as an educator. You have truly impacted the life of Lady G. And if we had more educators like you, oh my goodness, where would so many people be? And we are thankful for the people who have, and other educators who have impacted people just like you and have made a difference and have impacted so many of us. So we salute you tonight, Miss Purdy.
Thank you very much. You all have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are taking callers again, guys. We have switched our conversation, and we're going to continue to take callers. Our number is 972-882-6146. Again, 972 882-6146. And we've shifted our conversation about romance, and we've gone to who inspired you. So if you have someone who've inspired you, you want to talk about that person and talk with our conversation panel, our team right here, please give us a call. We want to hear from our listeners tonight. Call in 972-882-6146. You don't have to identify yourself. We just want to hear your voice here on the conversation. So again, we go back to OB. Who inspired you? We want to talk to OB and see who inspired you, OB. So if you have any callers, just go ahead and call in, and we'll stop the conversation and hear your voice.
Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Simone. Yeah, go on, let it go, baby. Do your thing. We got emotion up here on the show, man. So we got some real stuff going on. That's awesome, man. I'm just trying to bounce off the wall on that. I hope I don't break down. But anyway, men get there too now. So I can truly say, I know we weren't supposed to say this, but yeah, I'm going to say that. But I can say the turning point of my life who inspired me would be my coaches. And when I say coaches, I'm not going to just name one. You know who you are if you're listening. But I will name him. Coach Paul Shankles, my linebacker coach. He didn't just teach me sports. He taught me how to be a gentleman. My Little League coach in Little Rock, Coach Ed Johnson. My Little League coach in Pine Bluff, Duck Roberts, Pop Ridge, and Porter Taylor. My junior high coach, and Ken Ramick. Those guys, Jimmy Sanders, they really, Coach Butler, and taught me how to be a man. And my second inspirer would be my pastor, all-time pastor, Reverend Jerry D. Black, out of Little Rock, but by way of Atlanta, Georgia. He basically made me believe in Christ, God, at the age of like 17, 18. I was pretty much lost. I knew church, and I ain't gonna say I knew. Jeez, I heard about it, but he basically broke it down to me and to teach me to where I was attracted to wanting to know more about God and Jesus, his son Jesus. My third would probably be, and I'm done, one of my high school teachers, Miss Maddie Collins.
Yeah.
She was definitely an inspiration in my life.
Collins.
She probably don't even know it, but she gonna say, "Oh, B, you didn't tell me that," or whatever. Well, sometimes you don't have to tell people; it speaks for itself. She taught me to be a gentleman, and that she looked like class. If I ever saw a woman other than my mom and grandmother, Maddie Collins and Miss Himes definitely, but was a walk-in woman of class, and she didn't do stupidity. She wanted you to be well respected and respect others, and she had time for kids, young teenage kids that didn't know what half of them didn't know whether they were going this way or that way, and she spent time with, hey, she told you look nice. She told you, hey, what you gonna do after college? She was a mother, but wasn't a mother of biological, but she was a mother and a great friend. So those are my people that inspired me. Y'all tell me we needed 1, 2, or 3, so I can.
Okay, Epic Cousin Mays, and Lady G. We had the person that inspired you, but Epic Cousin Mays. Thank you for sharing, OB. Thank you.
Yes.
Good.
There are a lot of people I can name, but the ones that really stick out are the ones from Jenkins Memorial Center. And I started working at this center that had children with disabilities and adults. I didn't even know that part of the world had existed. I didn't. You always saw maybe that 1 or 2 handicapped person working at the store. And when I worked there, that just opened my eyes so big. Pat Waddy, who's no longer here, Vernell Wallace, Mayola Jones, Tiki Hunt, Mary Williams, and there's a couple of other people from there. They were the extraordinary example of real teachers that had passion, that love kids with disabilities. And they had the patience, they had the time, and they did what it took to help the kids progress. I really believe if it wasn't for those women, I don't think I would have stayed in special education as long as I have. They taught me so much. You're talking about last year of high school to my last year of college at UAPB. And when they showed me, because I didn't understand, you have a kid that's 3, not walking, not going to the restroom, don't even recognize his or her name. What's going on here? Help me understand this. And they just took me in and they showed me so much. Just so much. And I had a lot of coworkers and a lot of other people that worked with me at that time, but they were the main 4 or 5 people, some more, but they were like the main 4 or 5 people. I can just really remember, and sometimes every once in a while, you know, I go back through there if the center's open at that time. Haven't been in a while. I think the last time I saw them was at my cousin's funeral. And my cousin, Monica Murray, who I love very much, we worked together there. And that was the last time I saw those teachers. Yep.
Wow. You know, I'm glad you said that because, you know, we have this commonality, all of us, OV and myself and Cousin Mays, from being from Palm Bluff, Arkansas. Right. And when I think about it, we had such a sense of community there. Mm-hmm. I think about when I first went off to school, Head Start, 34th Avenue, yes. Head Start.
Yes.
And our teacher was Miss Gatson. She taught us how to do all these things to prepare us as we were little bitty kids. And I always remembered her. And then to Miss Williams. Miss Williams was my first grade teacher, and she was a tall lady in stature, and she believed in us doing our very best. Yes. And then I had this teacher in 3rd grade named Miss Eifling. And Miss Eifling used to make us put a heading on our paper, and the heading was, "Only my best is good enough." And like she would not let us turn a paper in unless it had that heading on it. And as I grew up and went to school and became a teacher, I had my students to put that same heading on their paper when I taught elementary school. Only my best is good enough, because I think about when I was a little girl in a housing projects of Southeast Arkansas, going between there and my grandmother's house in Cindy Heights, which was, everybody thought we were rich. I'm like, where? You know? So going from one neighborhood to the next, the amazing thing was I had to take speech when I was a little girl. I could not say free, F's. I couldn't TH. I couldn't even say my name. They would say, "What's your name?" Thila Thamon. I couldn't even say my name, but thinking about the speech teacher that taught me how to say things correctly. And then when I got to 8th grade, this is a shout out to one of my favorite teachers. That's why I know that I write today. Monisha Johnson's mother, her name is Miss Frances Johnson. When I was in 8th grade, she nominated me for this award. I believe it was called the Danford Award for Writing Excellence. And that inspired me to write from that age into where I am now, and I'm so thankful for her. And then going through high school, we had Miss Clemens, who was a neighbor, but she stood, I mean, she always polished and professional. And Coach Butler used to take me to school. We'd all pile up in his car, and he would take us to school and bring us back home. You know, we had to run on that track before we got back. And Coach Jimmy Sanders, who would make us fall out and throw up on the track, but taught us how to do our very best. And Coach Esther Terry, who was always there and always supportive. And then it goes all the way through college when I had those professors at Jackson State University going to HBCU undergrad. And I remember giving my first speech in a speech class, and the professor, I can't even remember his name. And I did a speech, and I said, the cheering, because I was raised by my grandmother, who passed away a couple of years ago at the age of 87. And I said cheering in college. And he says, no, darling, it's children.
Children.
Because he wanted the best for me. And those people you're talking about, and I remember Miss Himes and Miss Collins, and they were so regal back then, and they were such a living example, and they modeled such how professionalism looked for us when we went to school at Pine Bluff High School. So those things were so important. So for me, I would say those individuals, they really touched my life and made me want to be an educator and impact the lives of children. So I said hats off to those people, just like OB and Cousin Mays. We share the same experiences, and I'm so glad we had some of the same people who touched our lives. They touched our lives. So how about you, Epic?
Oh, that's good. You know what I'm looking at, the commonality is that, you know, you never, ever forget a coach. You know, I heard OB, I was listening to OB, and he took it way down to preschool. I mean, to the Pee-wee leagues, you know. And, you know, as educators, you know, I always say, hey, wear the hat of a coach. You know, you may forget some people, but, man, coaches, you will never. And so what is fun that we're on this segment, because I'm noticing with this segment that it's really talking about our roots. You know, we're tracing back the roots. Where did this start? Who inspired us? And we can see, like Dr. Simone is saying, she can see some of the fruit that came from that root. That's right. That was in her book. She had skills that's developed because of this. But someone had to invest.
That's right. That's right.
So who inspired you? Who planted that seed? And so, you know, there's lots of people. We need more seed throwers in the community. I'm always going to take it back to the community. We need more and more people who will throw seeds and volunteer and mentor a child. Because we got so many of us who are lost and who have the will but not the skill. So we need some seed throwers who will be able to cultivate and plant those seeds. Mine, personally, I don't even want to begin talking about the coaches, because if I lose any of them, that'll be wrong, very wrong with me. So, but I couldn't say one individual. Coach Giles, he's been in Dallas ISD 40 some plus years, and maybe even 50 plus years by now. I mean, really, he led me to Christ, you know, with a Bible and a board. And, you know, they had wood shop back in the day with those, you know, tons of wood shop. They drill holes in that board. They get you right. But Coach Giles, there's a Noel Jones who was from big offensive lineman from Detroit, Michigan. He played in the NFL, and he was really instrumental. He showed me what to do with money. He owned his own limousine. He was the first black entrepreneur that I saw. He owned a fleet of limousines. Nice. So it showed, you know, what not to do. He would gather a group of us African American males and take us around and show us what corners to avoid and what not to do.
That's good.
So that was good. And then another gentleman that's totally different is a white friend of mine Bill Hammers. I met him in college. He's from Manford, Oklahoma. And he was so, I just put it like this, I only knew African Americans, he only knew Caucasian. Yes. He wanted to touch my skin. No doubt. But the thing is, he invited me up to be his best man at his wedding, knowing that his background and our background were polar opposites. Wow.
Yeah.
And so him taking that stance for racial reconciliation was a powerful statement.
Wow.
Powerful statement. Despite the criticism, he had brothers and friends that he could have chosen.
Yeah.
He said, you know, I want him to serve as my best man.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So,
that's deep there, man.
That's another.
How about you, man?
Yeah, and then the last person who you asked me about my weekend. I'm going to tie these two together. I celebrated the homegoing celebration of one of my pastors, my mentors, great man of God, Reverend Robert E. Murphy. Okay. And man, when I tell you that funeral service the celebration was powerful. We had people coming in from all over, but as I listened to all the lives that this gentleman impacted, you know, it's like, wow, that's how you go. Wow. You go that way where, you know where you prepared your house on the other side of glory.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you left behind some legacy and people who can carry on your acts, even when you're not here in the body. So, Reverend Robert E. Murphy, we give you a shout out. Yes. And his family. Yes. I know you're mourning right now, but I really give my hats off to you and the church and the community, because, you know,
Awesome.
He will be truly, truly missed. Great man of God.
Awesome.
That is
Wow.
beautiful, guys. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
man.
for sharing that, OB.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I basically done my. That's blown me away right there. Everything that y'all basically have said, it's blown me away. So, thank you once again. That completes our show for.
No.
Oh.
We-
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
No, not yet.
We're taking a break.
We're taking a break. Man, my mind is gone right now, but we're taking a break and we'll be right back at you in 5.
All right.
Thank you. I like that. I like that. Right
Okay,
there.
guys, I'm getting.
Back, everybody that's listening in. We here at the Vibe, a beautiful host of our special team and family here as well, called The Conversation. We've been having a great night tonight, discussing our topics for the day. What does a woman want? Is there still romance anymore? And who inspired you? We've been covering those topics. So our last topic for the evening is I remember when. And who would like to basically start that topic off? Who would like? That's a deep, long back in the day type
Yeah,
of thing.
back in the day. You know what? This is what I remember, guys. I remember when I was growing up. And how many of you guys you went to your grandparents' house or your great aunt and uncle's house, and there was plastic on the sofa? You guys remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
Do you remember the runners? You had to walk on the runner. You couldn't
Yes,
walk
I
on the
remember
carpet.
that.
You had to walk on
Right.
the runner.
I remember that.
Yeah, man. I definitely remember that.
And then you had the living room, and then you had the den, which was a bedroom that was converted
Oh, yes.
to a den. And you couldn't go in the living room.
Oh,
You couldn't
no,
set
no,
foot
no, that's a no-no.
in the living room. How many of you all
I
grew up? You
remember
couldn't go in
that.
the living room. I know I couldn't. Okay. So how about some of you guys?
I'm gonna say I remember when I used to shell peas with my grandma, and she had this big silver bowl, and we used to sit outside and shell those peas. Boy, them peas was never ending.
Okay, we have another caller.
Caller named Darius.
Okay, Mr. Darius. Darius, is that correct? Okay, you're calling in. We've had all these topics. This is Dr. Simone, and we're here with OB and Maze. We call her Cousin Maze, and Epic and Lady G. She's talking about shelling peas with her grandmother. But you're calling in. I think one of these topics has really gotten your attention. Which one is it?
Definitely the first two, for sure, before you got started on the last one, with the romance and inspiration.
Okay, why don't you talk to us a little bit?
All right, and my marriage, good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening. Good evening.
So our group was together at the same time, so you guys can get back to what you were talking about. My inspiration was my grandfather. He had 9 kids, and of course my grandmother as his wife. And every Saturday, even all of the kids are grown, we would still get my grandmother flowers every Saturday. So he's the first man I've seen show that kind of affection to a black woman, first and foremost. And I can remember this random guy was one of my aunt's boyfriends. We were sitting in this van singing Johnny Gill's My one day. So that leads me to seeing this man get this kind of affection, and being from Detroit, Motown was my inspiration outside of my grandfather. So listening to the Temptations of Marvin Gaye and the Jackson, and that's my foundation. So when you talk about that romance with the woman, our music today is a reflection of that. But I also heard Freddie Jackson, Johnny Gill, and Jill Levert, these men singing these romantic songs of how to woo a woman and treat a woman. And so with that came the patience and education that came from a black woman. And so a black woman gave instruction, and black men gave the guidance, they assisted in direction. And so I believe that if we protect this inspiration we talk about coming from our elders, and I'm 32 by the way, so I kind of keep that thing going. It's kind of militant-minded because I'm so hardcore about it, but I believe it. And I was a homeless man when I met the woman who was helping me out. And although I didn't have money, we talk about that stability. Although I didn't have money, I treated her like she was everything.
Wow.
And I worked every day. And we went 10 years. And to this day, we still kind of back and forth. But she loves me and do anything for me because I give her that passion. And I just believe in protecting that. And I believe that the more and more you show women that love, the romance, that respect, you will teach us. And black men, they'll see the power in that, and they'll want to be men. And so I just believe in that, and protecting and promoting that inspiration that we're talking about in that romance.
Thank you so very much for calling in. That was just so profound.
Awesome.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Wow. That was amazing, guys.
It was. It was.
It was. It really was.
Yeah. do we?
I remember when.
Yeah, there we go. I remember when. Would somebody else like to go? Lady G, you like to go? You said about the peas.
Oh, I had said about
Yeah.
shelling the peas with my
Yeah.
grandma.
Good peas now. You got some out there in the car? Man, I can use a bowl of peas.
Let's see,
right
what else?
now.
I remember when, you guys remember the ice cream machine that you have to used to crank back in the day?
Oh, my God.
And me and my cousins used to take turns cranking that thing, and now we don't want to do that no more.
Yes.
We want to plug it in.
That's right.
You have the ice and the salt.
Yes,
Me
yes.
and my cousin used to fight because I done told him I done did it 10 more minutes than you done did. It's your turn to do it. And he'll go in the house on me. I go in there and get it, man. So
Wow.
that was some fun. We fought behind that ice thing. Okay.
Well, with me, I don't know how safe it was, but I just remember how we were so covered by grace because the stuff that we used to do back in the day, like tour days in a hot sun, and you don't get breaks to drink water until X amount of time, all that kind of stuff. Nowadays, you have a lawsuit on your hands. People be done. But the stuff that we used to do, define all types of safety type of things, just going out there raw and in sports and pushing yourself up to exhaustion.
That's right.
I remember that's athletics, but I also remember like in the church when you had Sunday school. You would always have to have a Sunday school, and the church was relevant then. And you were placed there, and you learned that word, and everyone was placed. You had a teacher there, some old lady who was bringing you the word. Come on. Missionary.
Wow.
Okay, we have another calling. Thank you, Epic, for that. Miss Anders, Jackie Anders, how are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing great, and I think everybody's doing great.
Yes,
Okay,
good,
we're
good.
doing great. The conversation team's doing great. What do you have for us tonight, Jackie?
Well, I remember when my sister and my cousin Ned, who is Gloria Davis, who's sitting over and for the holidays, we would always, for like 4th of July, we would all have the same little outfit. That was
Yeah.
Wow.
We had the same outfit. I can remember the 4th of July, we'd have our little red, white, and blue outfits, and then we had to have the watermelon and cranking and turning that ice cream. That was an annual thing for
Yes,
us.
it sure was.
Oh,
Jackie.
Lady G, you had a matching 4th of July outfit.
Yes, thank you so much for calling in. Girl, that is just so wonderful.
Okay, well, I remember when. Share that one, because that could go on all night. But anyway, this is awesome. You guys, this is great. So I just wanted to call in, and I'm so proud of my cousin.
Oh, that's nice.
We are too. Thank you for calling in, Jackie. Stay tuned. Next Monday, 6 o'clock until 8. We'll have more things.
Ma'am.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, well, I think you was still. You were
Oh no, that was it. It was just those two. It's athletics and the church for me. You know.
Okay. That's cool. All right. Well, thank you, Cousin Mays.
I remember when. It is so many things I can remember in my childhood. I remember when I was in junior high. Actually, let me back it up to 34th when I first started the drill team. And I can't quite remember the lady's name, but she was our dance teacher. And we wore these thin blue plastic wave breakers with no lining on. A white beret with white gloves. And it was this. It wasn't a
No
full
line.
turtleneck, but it was kind of like a half piece. Remember back in the day, you have like a turtleneck, but it was like a half piece under the shirt. It was one of those. That was crazy, but I love every moment of it. And then it went on and on. After that, I started being in band. I loved band. I was in the Jack Rowe Junior High band with Mr. Mack.
Mr. Mack.
Mr. Mack didn't play. We love Mr. Mack, and he would stay on us. He made us disciplined. He made us play well. our formations, and it went from there to Mr. Lott. And Mr. Lott and Mr. Mack were really good friends.
Carl Lott.
Mr. Carl Lott, I would never forget. You talking about playing all kinds of things from Earth, Wind, and Fire to Stevie Wonder, just all kinds of great soulful music. They had everybody standing up in the stands, dancing, and all kinds of formations, just going back and forth, circles and squares, all kinds of great things. And they kept us disciplined, and they made sure we stayed right, that we were doing the right things. And people thought, oh, y'all just marching and doing all those kind of things. No, it was a workout. It was like a boot camp, maybe a week or two before school started, and we'll be running around the building. He had us in shape. It was not a joke. And we marched 250 to 275 piece band, spread it across the Palm Bluff High Stadium. Even when we played there Thursday night when we were at Jack Roby, we spread it across the field. Same way at Palm Bluff High, spread it across the field. And I would never forget them, because the music that we played was so soulful again. I believe that was around the time Drumline came out. And all the band, everyone that was in band, at least at Palm Bluff High, we went to go see that movie. And y'all, we packed it out. We had so much fun that night. I would never forget. But discipline was a must. Your music touched everybody in some way or fashion.
You know, that brings back memories to me. I grew up in a small church at the time called Union Missionary Baptist Church off Georgia Street. Reverend Leroy Spears was pastor back then, but I think we had Pastor Walker back in the day. And there was a little old lady that would come to our church. Her name was Miss Epperson. And she was a little bitty short lady. And we used to be on the, I wouldn't say Ursha, the usher, but the Ursha board. And we were all on the Ursha board, you know, my friends and I. And we would be on the back row. And the preacher would start preaching. And the next thing we know, that little Miss Epperson, she would get in the middle of the aisles. And she'd just start shouting and walking down the aisles, "Thank you, Jesus." You know. And we would all look at her and laugh. Until one day. I remember we had a youth program at the church. And I think about that song with Shirley Caesar, talking about being in the background, laughing about playing church. And the Spirit came in that place, and all of us just lost ourselves. And that was the last day I ever laughed about anybody shouting for joy for Jesus in the church. And I tell you, even to this day, I remember Miss Epperson, and now I understand why she had that spirit, because when you live a little bit,
that's right,
you understand. But I remember when.
I know that's right.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to close with 3 remember wins, and I just thought about these. I remember getting whooping out of the tub.
Ooh, gosh.
Ouch. I didn't know you were supposed to get whoopings in the tub. My mama whooped me out the tub. And I never forget that. I remember when. My other one was my mom. I don't know if we didn't have the money, but I didn't have a Halloween deal. And my best friend going to give me a football helmet and a chin strap on it. And I said, well, who am I going to be? He said, get a T-shirt and put number 32. You be O.J. Simpson tonight. And I'm not going to. I was a little bitty kid. I remember that. And my last one, I think I forgot. Let me see what that last one was. God, I can't think of what the last one. Okay. That last one, I'm going to say, I can't even think of it. It lost me. Well, we're going to save it for another day. I'm sorry, I can't think of it. But anybody else?
But I'm gonna say I remember when I also got a whooping in when I was in the tub. Yes, goodness. And my cousin that just called in, they lived across the street from us, and I wanted to go stay the night. And my mama told me I couldn't go, and I was probably about 6, and so I said a cuss word and stomped my foot. Now that was that morning. Wow. And she waited until that night. And I was in the bathroom. I got in the tub, and she came in there with that belt, it was over.
Wow.
All I can remember is we had a big bathroom and I could run fast, so that's about all I could do. But I remember when.
And you just brought mine back to me. You just brought. We used to play Honey Honey Bebop.
Oh,
And that was my favorite game right there.
Oh,
Favorite
wow.
game.
that was so fun.
To go hide from your cousins and everybody, and to make it back to that tree in the dark. You know,
Oh, wow.
bumping into cars and everything, trying to get there safe.
Oh,
That was fun.
Fighting mosquitoes, right?
Fighting mosquitoes, lightning bugs, all lightning bugs. Y'all don't know nothing about that. June bugs and all that stuff. That's fun.
oh
Fun.
wow.
Who remember that's my car?
I remember that.
That's
I
my
remember
car.
it.
Yeah.
Sit on the porch. There's a lot of fights in there behind. That's my car. You be like, no, that's my car. Man, we done came a long ways with games that didn't start with Milton Bradley or Parker Brothers. We made our own games up, you know. But Dr. Simone, I can remember I used to climb a tree. Them days are gone.
We had a plum tree in our backyard, and people used to always be in the
Jump
plum
that
tree.
fence.
Oh my goodness, we
Jump
had
that
plums,
fence.
peaches, pears,
Wow.
apricots. We had pecans.
Was that
everything
called
but-
stealing or is it just...
It was stealing. I used to knock on the window all the time and tell them, "Get out our yard." But I remember when, and they would have a big old thing of plums. They have a T-shirt on, and they throw the plums in there, and they running out the backyard.
That's remember when right there, man.
I remember that. I remember that. Like you said that.
Man.
It reminded me of my grandmother who had a peach, apple, and berry tree and a pecan tree in her yard. Leave it to my cousins and I. We will sneak across the street.
Yeah.
My mom, uncles, and grandparents stayed on the east side of Pine Bluff. I think it was 14th, I can't quite remember, on the east side of town. And it was this man named, I forgot his name, but he stayed across the street. And he drove a red and white truck. Red and white truck. And we would wait till he leave in his truck and drive on down the street, long block. It was a very long block. It was a dead-end road, but it was a long block. And we would sneak across the street. We would take the back door from the kitchen out the back door, and we'll sneak around the house, and we'll look to make sure he wasn't coming, and we would go across the street, and we would take plums, peaches,
Now, was that stealing?
blackberries. It was
Taken.
It was stealing.
'Cause I know I done took some stuff from
Oh my gosh. And then we'll have it in our
Yeah.
shirts. And we'll look. His name was Mr. Brown. That's what it was. There go Mr. Brown. We would run back across the street. And oh my gosh. We used to stay in trouble. Me and my cousin. But this is what happened. When one got in trouble, everybody got a whooping.
Yeah.
Everybody got a whooping.
Yeah.
No one was exempt from that. And it stayed with me today because I'm very cautious who I'm friends with and who I date at this point. It never
That's
left
good.
me.
That's good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Eric, what do you remember in the Grove?
Oh. From the Grove, I remember my folks getting into a big argument over Kirby. So, you know, my dad out there working and my mom, this salesman just came knocking on the door. And he came in with this high-tech vacuum.
Ah.
It worked. It worked on her. You know, she was showing him all this stuff. But when he went to my baby sister's room and took a sample of the mattress and put it under a dish
Wow.
and
Yes.
put a magnifier. Said, "This is what's in your daughter's bed right
Wow.
now." And this stuff was moving. Oh, she said, "Whatever I need to do to get baby girl safe." So I remember the garage coming up. And my daddy coming in, and I just looked. It was it was so bad. So I knew from then, tying it into, hey, financial literacy is important.
Yes,
Talk
it is.
with your spouse about major purchases,
Uh-huh.
because I'll always remember that.
Yeah, that
Wow.
bird was about $800 back
Oh,
then.
man.
Back then, yeah, it's more than that now, because I got one.
You got one too, huh?
Yeah. For about
You were
a year
sold
and a half
then,
ago.
huh? They
It
come
wasn't
in
me.
and give you the sales pitch, or
Yeah, well, they was giving it to my husband, and His parents had it, so he said we need one too. So now it's gonna be willed to our son.
Oh, okay. See, now that's a vacuum to be
I don't
wheeled
even know
over.
if he knew that.
Do you guys remember going to the corner store when you were growing up?
Yes.
Everybody had a corner store.
I have no idea.
Or the candy house.
Siddles was our
Uh-huh.
corner
Corner,
store.
yes.
And the other one was
Miss Thompson, did Miss Thompson have one? That was on
remember Miss
13th
Thompson.
and
I remember.
maybe that was after y'all.
I
Maybe.
just
We
told
had- we had-
Sullivan's.
Sullivan.
Cheering,
On Cherry.
cheering, second and cherry, man.
Okay, I remember that.
We
Yeah,
had Joyce.
Yeah,
Joyce
y'all had
store on
Joyce.
34th and Sanders.
I remember that.
That's right.
I remember that.
That's
On
right.
34th, right down the street
I
from
remember.
school.
I've been in them stores.
I remember that. I used to go in there.
What do they call that? What do they call that record? Was it a 45 that you had a
45.
penny on it?
Oh,
You put
yes.
the-
45 and LP.
An LP?
Yeah, and then that other one was a 67. Oh, 67, I think.
67, right.
Yeah, I think it's
You had a
67.
needle on it and a
Yeah.
penny. You had to hold it down and then play the song and lift it up,
Yeah,
and flip it
man.
over, and you play the
And
other
play the
side.
other
That's right.
Yep.
Put a penny on it.
Absolutely.
Now, I know y'all remember TVs, and maybe I'm telling my age, but remember when TVs, the antenna would get broken, and you put
Yes.
a hanger in
Put
there?
that hanger in there.
With the two knobs, some of them had
Foil,
two
yeah.
knobs.
Put the foil on it.
With that wrench, some people had that vice grip on it, change the channel.
It seemed like every
man.
house had a screen door.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
lock that
Yes.
screen door. Quit
Right.
slamming that door.
And there were always 3 pictures on the wall. Who were they?
Jesus, Martin Luther King, and who's the other one?
Malcolm X.
You sure right.
Yeah, I
That
remember
was it
that.
right there, man. That was it. Y'all don't know about that window fan though.
Window fan.
Oh, yes.
Window-
With little
Y'all
ice
too-
on
That
it.
was the
Yeah.
attic fan.
Huh?
The attic
The
fan,
coolers.
too.
They
The
had
what, ice,
coolers.
the coolers?
They
Yeah.
weren't actually air conditioners, but they
Yeah.
were coolers.
Yeah.
We
And
wasn't
they had
that
put-
rich. We didn't have them coolers.
Well, I remember when we used to have the fork and the spoon on the wall.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, the big
Everybody.
spoon in the kitchen.
That's
I
right.
remember
Everybody's
that.
house.
Yeah, I
Them
remember
was
that.
cyclopedias. Y'all remember that?
Oh,
Did y'all-
yes. Everybody had the same report when we got to school.
Yeah. Oh,
We didn't have the internet
You're right.
encyclopedia. You're
You
right
sure
about that.
right.
Or
I
then
do
when they
remember
would
that.
order, you had
But
to
what
wait
you
till the
just
next
said,
week.
everybody got the same report. I didn't think of that.
And you had to wait. Sometimes your parents would buy one at a time. You couldn't afford the whole set, so you have
Break it down in 3 seconds.
and you have to wait on the rest.
That's right. That's right. That's
remember
God.
that.
The drinks, they had mason jars that you
Yeah.
drink
Right,
from.
mason
And
jars.
I remember some tubs that you had to even pour the hot water in.
Oh, I
They were
remember
standing
that.
up.
Number 3 tub. Number you took your bath in the tub. Get out of here.
I remember going to a relative's house when I was a child, and she had one of those old-fashioned washing machines where you ring your hair or
Yeah.
something.
That would be in
She had-
Shorty.
Yeah, she
I
had it in
remember her having one of
her bathroom.
Yep.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah. Okay, all right then. Well, man, I think that will continue our show for tonight. I think we had a great show. I'm excited about it. Hey, some great stories, some great topics for tonight. Would anybody have any last words?
Well, I just wanted to tell everybody thank you for joining into the conversation.
And thank you guys so much for calling in and being a part of this
Yes.
great show.
And we look forward to hearing from you next week as we go live through the conversation.
Please tune in every Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. That's Central Standard Time, and we'll be live on Facebook. Please send your comments, your questions. We would love to hear some different things from you.
Great. And also, we plan to give you the best topics we can give you from our team. And to tell a friend, please join in. And we'd like to once again thank the Vibe for hosting us. Miss Lotus doing a wonderful job. So, Dr. Simone, Lady G, Epic, Cousin Maze, and myself, OB, we'll see you again next Monday.
And like our page.
Yeah, like our page and share. Like and share.
Like and share.
conversation.
The conversation.
Conversation.
The conversation.
And the conversation.